The sliding door to Bulma's lab hissed open as Goku stepped inside. His usual carefree energy had been replaced by something rare: silence. Bulma, sitting cross-legged in her rolling chair, glanced up from her workstation. The moment she saw the look on Goku's face, she set down her tools. "What happened?" Bulma asked, her voice light, though the tension was already creeping in around the edges. "You look like you've actually been thinking, and that's usually a bad sign." Goku gave a weak smile, the kind that didn't quite reach his eyes. "It's Broly," Goku said. "He's trapped. YAHWEH sealed him away, and I need your help to break him out." The humor slipped from Bulma's face, replaced by a mix of disbelief and something approaching fear. Even after all they'd seen, gods, androids, universe-shattering tournaments, something about YAHWEH made the air itself feel heavier. "YAHWEH," Bulma repeated slowly. "You mean the one whose voice was in the sky? The one who made all those warlords and psychos disappear like they never existed?" Goku nodded once. "I don't think Broly deserved that," Goku said. "I promised I'd help him control his power, and I can't just leave him like that, no matter who YAHWEH thinks he is." Bulma sighed, rubbing her forehead with the back of her hand. "You Saiyans really don't know when to quit, do you?" "I know it's risky," Goku admitted. "But I promised Broly I'd help him. I'm not breaking that promise." Before Bulma could respond, a voice cut through the lab, sharp and familiar. "What you're planning is a waste of time." Vegeta stood in the doorway, his arms crossed, his expression carved from stone. "This YAHWEH isn't some upstart tyrant you can punch into submission, Kakarot. Whatever he is, it's different. Even I could feel it." "That doesn't mean he's right," Goku said, not looking away. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. "You saw what happened to Babidi and Hedo," Vegeta said, his tone grim. "Snuffed out like they were nothing. I don't know what YAHWEH is, but I know this. He doesn't hesitate." "You really think you're going to change his mind with some naive speech about friendship?" Goku's hands clenched into fists at his sides, but before he could respond, Bulma's palms slapped together in a loud clap, cutting through the tension. "All right, enough testosterone poisoning my lab," Bulma said. "Goku, I'll build you something to crack that divine prison, but I'm going to need something special to make it work." Goku blinked. "Special how?" Bulma's grin sharpened, though there was an anxious flicker behind her confidence. "A divine whisker." Goku's face twisted in confusion. "A what?" "A divine whisker," Bulma repeated. "You know, one of Beerus's whiskers." Goku's jaw fell open. "You want me to pluck one off Beerus's face? He'll erase me just for thinking about it." Before Goku's panic could fully set in, a familiar voice rumbled from behind him. "You'd better not even think about it, Saiyan." Goku spun just in time to see Beerus standing there, lazily flicking a finger toward Goku's forehead. The impact sent him tumbling across the floor. "Ow, ow, ow, ow!" Goku groaned, rubbing his head. Beerus grinned lazily. "Relax. I'm in a generous mood." The god of destruction raised one clawed hand, dangling a single glimmering strand between his fingers. It pulsed faintly with divine energy. "This is from my oracle fish," Beerus said. "It's divine enough for whatever ridiculous contraption you're building." Bulma snatched it eagerly. "Perfect! This will amplify the divine residue signal. I can blend it into the disruptor core." Beerus gave a dismissive wave of his hand. "Don't misunderstand. I'm not taking sides in your little rebellion. YAHWEH's presence is unsettling, sure, but it's not my concern. I've been around long enough to see plenty of so-called divine beings come and go. He stretched his arms overhead with a long, dramatic yawn. Besides, I'm overdue for a nap. With that, Beerus vanished in a flicker of violet light. As the silence settled, Goku rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Does the oracle fish even have whiskers? Does it matter? Bulma asked, already halfway through soldering the delicate components into place. Now let me work. A few minutes later, Bulma held up the finished device, the Arc Breaker, in both hands. It was no larger than a grapefruit, its silver surface engraved with shifting symbols that flickered between clean scientific diagrams and something far more ancient, like scripture written in the language of the cosmos itself. The soft hum it emitted was almost like a heartbeat, faint but constant, alive. All right, Goku, Bulma said. This is a one-shot deal. The divine residue from Yahweh's arrival in the oracle fish's whisker will amplify the disruptor's signal. It should destabilize the prison's frequency, but only for a few seconds. Goku took the Arc Breaker carefully, feeling the strange warmth radiating from its surface. That's why you're the best, Bulma. Bulma smiled, but there was tension at the edges. The fear she couldn't quite hide. Just promise me you'll come back, okay? Goku's fingers curled tighter around the device, the weight of her words sinking into his chest. I promise. Vegeta stepped closer, his arms still crossed, but his voice carried none of the usual scorn. If you're going to defy something like him, Kakarot, Vegeta said, then do it properly. Goku tilted his head. Properly? Don't do it just because you're stubborn, Vegeta said. Do it because you believe you deserve to stand in his presence, and not bow. Goku's smile returned, sharper than before, edged with that same reckless confidence that had always carried him through the impossible. You know me, Vegeta, Goku said. I don't bow to anyone. Vegeta turned his back to him. Then make sure you don't start now. With the Arc Breaker in hand, Goku stepped outside. Ri stood waiting, his staff glowing faintly, the soft hum echoing the divine power thrumming inside the device. Goku gave Bulma and Vegeta a final nod before joining Whis. With a light tap of his staff, Whis teleported them both off into the sky, leaving Capsule Corp silent once again. Far beyond mortal perception, in the vastness of the prismatic void, Zeno sat alone. His small feet dangled over the endless drop beneath him, his expression absent of its usual cheer. The weight of Yahweh's words still clung to him, heavier than any erasure. Not just heaven, but the weight of Yahweh's existence itself. Alpha and Omega, King of Kings, the first and the last. For the first time, Zeno, the king of everything, felt small. The Grand Priest stood behind him, hands folded, his own composure tested in ways it hadn't been in eons. My lord, the Grand Priest said gently, have you decided? Zeno's fingers drummed against his knees, his usual playful energy buried beneath something unrecognizable. He said I could see everything, Zeno said softly. Every secret, every reason. The Grand Priest's hands tightened slightly behind his back. Even he couldn't fully suppress his longing for that knowledge. After a moment, Zeno gave a small nod. I want to see. The void itself seemed to hold its breath, the very fabric of reality shuddering in response. I'll go. The Grand Priest bowed low, his hidden smile flickering in the shadow of his clasped hands. The shift had begun.